So guys, been a week or so since I made a video, and a couple of reasons for that I'll talk about on this ride. And I don't know if you guys in other countries apart from Spain have seen the news of the terrible floods we've had here in Spain, but they're reported to be the worst in 100 years in certain areas. Now, Monday this week started off pretty much the same as any other week. Quite decent temperatures, 23 degrees, sunny, no breeze or anything. And then Monday we had a yellow alert weather warning for late Monday evening and into Tuesday, and all through Tuesday till Tuesday midnight. So the particular job I was working on, I decided that we weren't going to go in because we'd been fitting some solar panels on the roof and we needed to connect the inverter and the main board up and all the rest of it, and there was risks of thunderstorms and lightning, so we held off. And the yellow warning that was published on the weather app said possible danger to human life, etc, etc, so we held off going in. Anyway, Tuesday came. Monday night we had some lightning, we had a heavy downpour during the night. It's a very, very heavy downpour for a few hours, high winds, and this continued to the morning, the winds and unsettled weather, really dark grey stormy skies, but hardly any rain. The rain held off most of Tuesday, and by the afternoon I was thinking to myself, perhaps I should have gone into work and took a chance, because the clients I was working for had come over from Ireland and they were doing work, and they continued to work through Tuesday, and I sat at home and got a few jobs that I needed to do out of the way, paperwork, etc. Anyway, that was that. Wednesday morning the sun came out pretty much as it is now, and I went to work again, and the notices started coming through on my phone on the Wednesday morning of death tolls in Valencia and other local areas near me within maybe a 30-40 mile range or even less. Severe flash floods, people getting swept away, property being damaged, walls being pushed over by the force of the water. And then the news came on the main news, and the deluge in Valencia was absolutely, it almost looked CGI'd or AI in the photos, and until I actually saw it on the news and saw the fierceness of the water running down motorways, in streets, multiple vehicles piled on top of each other, 2, 3, 4 vehicles. And then the first reports just came in of death tolls of 70 people, and since unfortunately that death toll has risen. So yeah, helicopters rescuing people off roofs, etc, pretty much like you see in most flash floods in places around the world, India and different places. But it is common here that we get these flash floods, and they are called a Dana, D-A-N-A, and the ferocity of this particular storm led to up to half a cubic metre falling in every square metre of ground. So to put that into perspective, guys, that's about 18 inches of water in any area, and in depth wise. So a square metre, 18 inches deep or 500 millimetres deep, which is half a cubic metre of water in a few hours, just maybe 2-3 hours. Bearing in mind, when you get some ferocious weather in the UK, you get 2 inches of water and that causes flash floods. 18 inches of water is incredible, unheard of. So yeah, some of the videos that are on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook are quite saddening and hard to believe, to be honest. So after me going on about the stunning weather we have this part of Spain, and we do, I mean, I'm out now, it's 5:15, it's 23 degrees on the screen in front of me, so perfect riding weather. even with the extra hour, it would be now 6:15 and it still would be 23 degrees. So stunning, stunning riding weather, but it just shows you the power and the force of nature, guys. So yeah, it was quite bizarre. It was forecast that we were going to get it in the mountain region where I am. Stunning, stunning views in this mountain area, and it skirted round us. I was watching it on a weather app on a radar, and it went right round us, and we sort of caught the very edge of it, and the eye of the storm did a big horseshoe and went round us, and absolutely devastated lots of places. I mean, the problem you've got in Spain with that sort of deluge is Spain is the second highest mountainous country in Europe, and if you look at the landscape, when you get that amount of rain, there's only one place it can go, and that's down to the valley bottoms, and unfortunately most towns are in the valley bottom, so they tend to be in river valleys or whatever. What happened in places like Valencia and along the coastal region, that area of Spain is very, very mountainous right down to the coast. If you travel to Murcia, and those of you who know Murcia, the Mar Menor and Los Alcatraz and around there, you'll know that it's very, very flat. The mountain ranges are something like 30 mile inland, so you've got this vast flat area that grows agricultural crops, and you see these vast swathes of greenhouses growing produce for all of Europe. When you go further along the coast and get to Alicante, which is in the Valencia province, all that area is quite mountainous right to the coast. So what happens, you've got mountains that stretch inland for 5, 6 or 7 kilometres before they peak and go over the other side. So the runoff from them mountains is going to get down to the towns, and what happens in places like the places that were flooded, it runs through the towns. There are waterways similar to what they have in California to take the deluge and take it to the sea, but when they overfill or they don't make it into them, it runs through the streets and eventually makes its way to the sea. And sadly, lots of people who tried to save the cars or hang on to the cars got swept out to sea. Now I know that sounds bizarre when you try and get your head around the thought of being swept out to sea. The force going out onto the beaches, and the height of the water some metre and a half high, heading straight down to the coast, then goes out into the sea, and it's not tidal along the coast in Spain because it's orientated to the east of the Iberian Peninsula, and Portugal's to the west. You need to be north and south to get a tide coming in and out, or a noticeable tide with the moon and the way it works. But yeah, what happens is that the water level along the coast, the east coast and the west coast, tends to stay pretty much similar. So you get a deluge of water running down off the mountain down to the coast. It'll come down a main road, especially a main road that goes straight to the sea, and anything on that road will get picked up because it's about a metre and a half deep, the water. So it picks up a car and it takes it down into the sea, and where the sea meets, where the water meets the sea, I would say, there's an eddy or a current, and that just takes it out and out and out, and these people unfortunately have been swept out to sea and died. Lots of people have been trapped in their houses and died. Lots of people have tried to hang on to the cars foolishly and ended up in the same situation. So very, very sad all round. It's left a weird sort of mist hanging over everything. I don't know whether it'll pick it up on the camera. I don't know what angle I've got the camera. I'll try and face it up a little bit. But this is a spot I come to now and again just to chill out and unwind, really, because it's a place you can get to where there's no sign of any houses or anything. Just taking it steady because the ground is a bit squishy after all the rain, and as you know, this heavy bike here, a rock or something, you're likely to tip over. So I'll get it a bit further up onto a flat bit. There we are. Yeah, so very, very sad all round, guys. So that's one of the reasons I haven't made a video. So guys, I was saying there, my phone actually started ringing, so I cut the recording off there, and it's drives me potty, but it was a spam call, and it's getting pretty bad here in Spain. It used to be bad in the UK years ago with nuisance calls, but it's getting just as bad here in Spain now, so every day you get mithered to death, and you answer your phone, nobody answers, they just want you to ring back, and it's a scam number that's trying to get some money out of you. Yeah, this landscape you can see, I don't know, because there's no obviously zoom lens on this DJI Osmo, but yeah, the views here are just stunning, and you can just come here and just chill, and you can't really see a house or anything. You may be right in the very distance going over towards Madrid. You get to see a few houses, but certainly for as far as I can see over to that mountain opposite us, and I can't remember the name of that mountain, it's quite a famous mountain here. It's, they've all got names, and you can see the striking resemblance to the spaghetti westerns, the rock formations and that were filmed around here and in Almeria. Yeah, so guys, a lot happening on the bike scene, going away from the melancholy and talking about the horrific Dana, and I'll put a couple of short clips into this so you can see the severity of these storms when they come down. And yeah, we were very, very fortunate to miss it, to be honest. It would have been quite devastating everywhere. Yeah, so in the news at the moment, obviously EICMA coming up. We're all waiting to see what's going to come out of EICMA, and lots going on in Spain. Vosges still on a 6-month waiting list. This particular bike that I've got, you know, it's the same in the UK through MotoGP. Also CF Moto, the 450 again, that's a 6 months wait in Spain. And yeah, it's crazy to think that generally new bikes, especially newer bikes in the UK, are not selling, but Vosges and CF Moto are on a sort of a back order, if you like. So you're ordering it blind. Okay, you can test ride one, you can see when you know what you're getting, but you're having to order it now for the new year, for February maybe, which is crazy. I've never known that in the bike scene that we've experienced before. You normally go into a sales room, you might wait a week or two till they get your bike in, especially from main dealer like Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha. But yeah, it's gone crazy with these Chinese bikes, I should say. It's the price point that's doing it, obviously. You can see that all bikes that come out fairly well priced in the past have sold pretty well. Look at the Himalayan, and in certain sectors the Royal Enfield bikes, although they're for a niche market, if you like, you've got to be really wanting a retro bike to buy a Royal Enfield. And this part of the world, Spain, small bikes just aren't, people do use them, but there's very few of them about, to be honest. Anything below 500cc, 600cc is considered a smallish bike, and most people ride 650s and up. You see a lot of scooters obviously in towns, the old guys and women and people tootling around on them, but generally if you're into bikes, people have larger capacity bikes here in Spain as opposed to smaller capacity. And I think that's going the way in a lot of places. If you've got a full license, you don't want to ride around a little bike when well, some of you might do, but most people want to ride around on something that they can go long distances on comfortably, and they've worked their way up and they've got the proficiency to ride. So guys, I'm going to go over a bit of a tool along this road. It's quite hot actually. I came out, I've put my winter jacket on, and I've actually got a hoodie underneath it, which was a bit bonkers because it's very, very still, and I'm sweating a bit. So I'm going to get on the move again. Going to go a few miles up the road and let you see some of the scenery. I've actually taken the carpio ride off the bike, and the reason I took it off the bike is quite a few have said they can't see anything in front except a dirty great big slab, and of course I know where I'm going, so I don't really need it on, so I've just unhooked it and stuck it in the back box. So yeah, stunning country, guys. Still a few of you inquiring about these tours. They're going to be next year. The earliest they're going to be logistically will be February. And why it's going to be February is because back end of December and January up here, it's freezing cold. Now, I know to you in the UK, most of you in the UK, you're probably used to riding in cooler weather, but it is, you can be below freezing in the morning, and then it can get to 12, 13 in the day with sunshine, but The old farmhouse we've got has got a big log burner in there, but it does get cold in there as well, so I want to try and make things as comfortable as possible. So we're still heading towards a February date, whether it's your own bike or we get a few bikes and I sort this insurance out. I'm still talking with people about the insurance, and it may well pan out that we can do it on some sort of way of doing it that's easier than going through a hire company for bikes, etc. So we'll toodle on, and hopefully you can see now I've got the screen, the Carpy Ride screen out of the way. You can probably see what I'm seeing. It doesn't look that rough there, but it was quite bumpy on a big lump of a thing like this. You don't want to be sat down if you can help it, and you don't want to be off-roading like I'm doing in sports mode. Now these roads now, since we've had the rain, they've washed a lot of gravel down onto the roads, especially on the side I'm on, the side nearest the mountain. So again, you really need to be on your lookout for any gravel, any sand on the road. And this is a stunning road to ride this on any bike. It's there's not many straight sections on it. You're up and down the box, usually just second and third's good enough. Some of these real switchbacks you need second on, so not too much mud along here. Normally if we get a deluge like we've had, this is fairly muddy, but it seems pretty clear so far. Bit of sand on that corner, take it wide. Wide towards the middle line to stay away from the sand there. And these rear Brembo brakes on the DSX are really nice just to trail some speed off. Obviously if you want to dive into a corner pretty sharply, you want to use your front brake to get the front end down a bit and dipping in. And I mean, most people tend to leave the brakes alone in a corner, but certainly coming up to a corner, heavy braking before the corner, get that front end diving a bit, then off the brakes round the corner, or just trail brake round the corner. Don't be silly, just tickle the back brake, and you can scrub off some speed in the corner with just the back brake. So we're going to spin it round here and head back and try and put a video together for you guys and show you some of the devastation that we've seen. problem riding back the other way. It's much easier to ride back this way because you're on the outside and you know there's not as much mess on the road, but then you're riding into the low sun. I would say generally the Pirelli Scorpion Trail Max are on this are pretty up to any road work, apart from when you touch a bit of sand. Certainly this type of stuff in the twisties, they're quite sticky tyres. Stunning, stunning scenery. Sand again there. So there we are, guys, a quick tour around the countryside with the carpy ride out of the way so you can see the scenery, and